see an ad from Coca-Cola that is just Coca-Cola saying drink Coca-Cola, or you can see an ad where your friend who likes Coca-Cola, the ad is just this person likes Coca-Cola. And which one do you think people who use Facebook prefer? They want to see something about their friends, right? They want to learn about what their friends are doing.
But when Facebook has tried to mix social messages with advertising in the past, it's run into trouble.
We built a little product called Beacon that's going to allow you to do this from your own website.
Beacon told people's friends what they were buying. There were furious complaints, and Zuckerberg withdrew it with apologies. But after a series of such complaints, a pattern has emerged.
Facebook tends to do a 3 steps forward, 1 step back launch approach. It often launches products that really push us, tests the water, so to speak. Then Facebook pulls back and begin to roll it out again more slowly. So if you look, for example, at the products that caused the most tension, say 3 or 4 years ago, all of those products exist in various facets of Facebook today.
Because they're the ones who are paying for it. So who is Facebook really working for?
You have to follow the money to understand power relationships. And so it's the people who are paying money to Facebook who are the actual users. They're the ones who use it. They're the ones who are served. You, as the person who signed up, is used. You are the product. You are sold to the person who actually pays money. You are not the customer. You are the product.
Businesses make contact with Facebook users in many ways. One is when you click a like button on a business's Facebook page. That business can pay Facebook to display a box in the right-hand column of your friends' pages showing your picture and saying you've liked the business. You can't opt out. But Facebook doesn't call this an advert. They call it a sponsored story.
When I press a like button on an ad, I'm trying. On the Facebook system, I'm affirmatively communicating that I'm associating myself with whatever I'm liking. And what that does is it creates a story. It's a ranking mechanism. I don't know if I would call it an advertisement.
Whether you think sponsored stories are really adverts or not, they highlight the critical dilemma for Facebook. How far can it go in using personal information without its users feeling exploited? It says it gives users full control over their privacy, but it also believes a more open world would be better.
It's not that people won't care about privacy. I think privacy is a really fundamental thing, and I think everyone cares about it. I think the big cultural change is that now more and more people are finding that they can build a reputation, they can disseminate interesting information, they can help people discover stuff, they get credit for that, they can be a part of discovering other people's stuff, and I just think that people are seeing every day that that's awesome, right? And that's why I think the world is moving in that direction. But people every day also wake up and I think are like, what stuff do I want to have out there and what don't I? And I don't think that that's going to change.
So how much do Facebook's business needs create a tension between privacy and sharing?
They've chosen terminology, and at least as important, they've chosen a user interface design that encourages sharing. They've set their defaults in a way that makes it seem like this is the right and normal and natural thing to do. I'm not so sure it really is. I'm not so sure that it's been the way of things or needs to be the way of things for every picture you take to be distributed to hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of people. And yet they've tried to convince us that that's the new normal and that's the way it should be.
Facebook insists its advertising model does not depend on its users agreeing to be less private.
Our goal is to make it so that people share what they want to, right? And we believe that over time people are going to want to share more things, or that's a big trend that we see happening in the world, but we don't benefit from being ahead of it, right? I mean, if we try to have people share things that they don't want to, then they'll stop using our service and not like us.
If Facebook's challenge was to come up with ways of making money that play to its strengths, it's done a pretty convincing job. Is it now set to rival Google? Well, earlier this year, Google responded with the sincerest form of flattery, launching its own social network, Google+.
We are pretty excited about the capability of Google+. We think we can make sharing even easier than it is today. I think you're going to see a much better experience as we continue to innovate.
Google Plus already has 40 million users and the means to recruit more.
you now have effectively a two-horse race. Google is a very rich, very global company that has a number of engines to drive traffic into its social network, notably Gmail, YouTube, and Google search product. And all three of those tools can be used by Google to drive people toward Google+.
So what does Zuckerberg think of Google+?
Google's a great company, and I think we want to look at and learn from everything that they do, but at the same time, people have shared a lot on Facebook, right? And they already have told a lot of their life story on Facebook, and we think that we have by far better tools for doing that.
This year, we're taking the next step. We're going to make it so that you can connect to anything you want in any way you want.
Facebook is widely expected to float on the stock market next year, as the biggest tech business to do so since Google. If it is worth $100 billion, that would make it bigger than McDonald's, Amazon, or Hewlett-Packard.
This is a very young company. It's just starting to figure out strategies for making money, and I think advertising is only one component of that. So if this company were to truly want to start monetizing, I think that $100 billion might start to feel tiny.
Facebook's long-term value may depend on users' concerns about privacy and whether they feel comfortable sending Facebook their information.
The big issue is privacy. I just have an inkling that closed networks that are more private, that are more restricted, ultimately actually may become more interesting.
My advice to Facebook would be, you've got to retain the trust of your users. That's the number one asset. If you lose that, you're vulnerable to Google and others winning this game.
And that's where Zuckerberg himself is vital to Facebook. He could be worth $17 billion after a stock market flotation. But as long as most users believe in his sincerity, they'll probably accept whatever changes Facebook throws at them. Because, by all accounts, he hasn't changed much.
Mark drives the same 4-year-old Acura that I recommended that he get, a few years ago. That and still lives, finally bought a house. But it's not like he bought some crazy mansion. Like he bought a house in Palo Alto. But really being, one of Mark's stated interests on Facebook is minimalism.
He doesn't care for material possessions at all. I mean, he actually wears the same jeans and the same T-shirt and jacket like every day. In fact, one of the things I first did when I came to the company is told a lot of people, he has a lot of those jackets. Don't worry, he's not wearing the same jacket every single day. It's just many versions of the same jacket.
As Facebook grows, Zuckerberg just wants to keep a low profile and get on with designing new features for the site. But his real job now is to help Facebook fulfill its business potential while keeping the trust of its users.
We're on this journey, and I just want to say it's really an honor to be on it with all you guys, because looking back 7 years, who'd have thought that we'd be here today? It's really a dream, and I wake up every single day and I'm thankful for the opportunity to work on these problems with you guys.